Alright, welcome to this learning resource on writing an introduction. So I introduce what I think are very important features of an introduction, and then I give an illustrative example of an introduction that incorporates these important features. Alright, so one important feature is this thing called a hook sentence. A hook sentence occurs early on or at the outset of one's introduction, and a hook sentence endeavors to grab your reader's attention, to inspire them to continue reading, to enchant your reader. Alright, then you want to introduce your topic or your question or your hypothesis, as the case may be. You want to use this tool called a roadmap, at least that's what I'm strongly recommending. A roadmap is a conceptual tool that one uses to give an overview of one's paper, a structural overview, and I deal with this conceptual tool, i.e. the roadmap, in more detail in a separate video. Then you also want to disclose what your thesis statement is. What is the claim you are arguing for in your essay? Let's look at an example. So this is a question. This would typically be asked at probably first year level. Does mobility affect one's identity? That's the question. Draw on the work of Thornton and Woodward for definitions of mobility and identity, give examples of identity and mobility, and defend your answer to the question. Okay, so the core question we're asked to answer is, does mobility affect one's identity? So here is an example of an introduction that I've written in response to that question, and let's go through it. So the first sentence reads, one's identity is one of the core features of being a subject in the world, significantly impacting one's life in a variety of ways, yet identity seems a difficult concept to pin down. So that is the hook sentence. That sentence aims to kind of pull the reader in, to enchant them, inspire them to read further. The second sentence reads, my focus in this paper is on the theme of identity and mobility, and I discuss how moving across boundaries affects one's identity. So that is me introducing my topic. This is about identity and mobility and how mobility affects one's identity. The next three sentences read, this essay proceeds by two steps. In the first, I define identity more fully and provide a few illustrative examples. In the second section, I define mobility and relate it to the effect one's passport has on one's identity. Okay, and that is the roadmap. So that gives an overview of what this essay consists in, the two main parts of the essay. It describes them in an abstract, high-level way. Alright, then I say, using two concepts, identity and mobility, I argue, which are the key words here, I argue that moving between different social, geographical, and linguistic contexts significantly impacts one's identity. So that is my thesis statement. That is the claim I'm arguing for, namely that moving between different social, geographical, and linguistic contexts significantly impacts one's identity. And then finally, I have a linking sentence. I move now to discuss identity in more depth. So the linking sentence here is linking my introduction to my first section where I discuss identity. Okay, so there's it there, the final version of my introduction. Just to recap, so an introduction consists of the following important features or components, characteristics. One is a hook sentence, the other is introducing your topic or your question or your hypothesis, using the roadmap tool to guide your reader as to the overall structure of your essay, and then you also want to disclose what your thesis statement is. Alright, that's all. Thanks for watching and all the best with your essays.